Things have changed a little bit. I was going to be doing a video purely on Antonio. I'm trying to work my way through the squad. Fortunately, the squad is getting fatter. It did get thinner, now it's got fatter. I was going to just discuss Antonio and his role in the team. But bearing in mind, we've just had the news that the deal is close, very, very close, we understand it. Myself and Geo are both 80% certain it will happen this week. I really wanted to delve into what Antonio's role is in the team now with Broja there because I mean we discussed earlier, Gio. We were talking about the left back situation. You really firmly feel that we need a left back. I certainly feel we need a left winger. So clearly we need some pace. We need something else. We need some more attacking intent down that left hand side. Do you think this would mean Antonio would be deployed on the left at all?
I think it could be an option there. I don't know if he'd be like the first choice left winger, if that makes sense, but I certainly wouldn't be adverse to it, and I certainly would expect, or at least on a few occasions, to see a team which consists of Broja as a striker and Antonio on the left and Jared Bowen on the right. I mean, that's mouth-watering in itself, isn't it? But I think we might see it on occasions. However, I don't think his role will change that much, to be honest with you, as a prediction.
Yeah, I do wonder on that as well. I mean, I certainly remember when Bowen came in, there was a sort of safety first approach to dipping him into the team here. There were occasions as well, if you remember, when he had Haller in and when Antonio, there wasn't that many times when they were both fit at the same time, if you remember, but he did try it on 3 occasions. He tried to play 2 up front. And it's really that because this impacts Antonio in one of 3 ways, basically. I think either Moisey does not really include Broja. He goes a little bit safety first. He might do a Vlasic on him. He might do it like Bowen, whatever. Or we see a situation where he takes the shirt from Antonio by the end of the season, or we see this one where they do appear on the pitch at the same time. And it's really that the big games, because I do think I think there's an argument there that whatever it might be, that semi-final against Frankfurt. Who do you play if he's had a really good run? Do you then pick Fornals? Do you pick Ben Rama there? But listen, I don't want to get too caught up in that left hand side thing. How much does this change the role for Antonio? Because I think Antonio, bearing in mind the international, what happened with international football, what happened to Jamaica, he was overused last season. I felt we relied far too heavily on him.
Yeah, the thing is, though, statistically, last season, Michail Antonio was one of the most creative players in the league. Now, I know not everybody likes stats and stuff, but I do. I like my data. I like to look at it, and I think it tells a story sometimes. Antonio was one of the most creative players in the Premier League, and statistically, that's factual. So I do think the good thing is, though, what you're discussing here is options. It's not really something we had last season. Who are we going to play up front? It was like, well, he's got to play up front because only he can play up front. Next season, we won't be restricted like that. We can play Broja up front. We can play Antonio up front. We can play Antonio next to Broja. We could have one of them on the bench. And if it's not working, we can bring them on. We'll actually have options next season in regards to that front part of the squad, which will be a vast improvement on last season because I have no issue with Antonio being the main man as a striker. I don't mind it. I have an issue when he's out of form being the main man. I have an issue with him remaining on the pitch when after an hour he's offered next to nothing and he looks knackered, but he's still got to remain on the pitch because there's no one on the bench. Well, that's gone now. Assuming Broja signs, all that worries, all that issues I have disappeared. We've now got an alternative to Michail Antonio and a damn fine one at that. But what I'll throw back at you, Gonzo, and this is where you hold David Moyes' words against him a little bit. Just back in January, David Moyes said, I'm not going to sign a player unless he's better than the one in the starting 11, or words to that anyway. So him signing Armando Broja suggests that David Moyes feels that he's a better striker than Michail Antonio. Now, I'm not quite sure that is the case. I imagine David Moyes feels that Broja is as close to Michail Antonio as he can find in regards to as a player. And that could potentially be the only worry with this signing because it's very, very similar. So if it's not working because of the style of play we're playing, we still don't really have an alternative because the guy that's replacing Antonio is going to play a bit like Antonio. But I imagine what Moyes is doing here is buying a player that's very similar to Antonio in terms of style, but also somebody that could become better than Antonio. He might not feel he's better today, but at some point in the future, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, he will be better than Michail Antonio. He will be the striker and replacement for Michail Antonio. So it's a very exciting signing, and I think it's actually an exciting time for Antonio as well. Actually, it's. I think usually when someone comes in and nicks your spot, it's probably pretty disappointing, isn't it? It's probably a worrying time as a player when you sign another player in your position. But I think for Antonio, actually, he won't have as much minutes as last season. But I wouldn't be surprised if he has just as many appearances, just that more of them will be off the bench and he's been rested up a little bit.
Yeah, well, I think it's two really good points. I think the first one about not having diversity of options in attacking D, I don't mind that because David Moyes has
No,
shown that he doesn't use it. All right, he's had Chicharito there, he doesn't use him. He's had Sebastian Haller there, he doesn't use him. What was his name? A Jetty came in. Oh, I don't even. Basically, he made some derogatory comment. I don't even know who he is. Something like that, didn't he? So that I don't
he had
mind.
Jordan Hugo. He bought Jordan Hugo.
There, but then again, another lump, mate, another lump. Who's in fine goal scoring form, we understand.
Yeah, he scored 2 against Marseille.
There you go. There you go. He's finally coming good. Have we got a buyback option? Did we do that? Be interesting. Or the sell on clause when Bayern Munich buy him as Lewandowski's replacement. The other thing, this is really good, by the way. I think this is almost a key element in this transfer is the impact on Antonio of Broja coming in. Is this going to? I say I don't want to say rocket up the arse because that would suggest that Antonio has been lazy. He's anything but. But let's call it motivation, extra motivation. Antonio could do what he wanted in terms. He could rest on his laurels. He was the only guy. If Antonio was fit, Antonio played. It was as simple as that, regardless of form. Almost in many respects, regardless of fitness. As long as he wasn't broken, he didn't even have to be fit. You could be out of form, you can be broken, you're playing. Why? Because we've got nobody else. All right. And Antonio sort of relished. Antonio was telling everybody, yeah, I got a number nine, and very openly would do interviews with Sky Sports talking about his metamorphosis into a striker and whatnot. He likes the accolades placed upon him. He likes to be known as a striker, referred to as a striker, referred to as the number 9. And to see somebody like Broja coming in, and not just coming in, but actually those first couple of training sessions, and I've no doubt that somebody as talented as Broja comes in training, starts, knocking defenders over and banging in a couple of goals in training. Antonio's going to say, "Oh, hello, what's sort of going on here?" And it's just that sort of level of competition, which all of these top sportsmen have. They're absolutely competitive. So, in the five-a-side game, then Antonio thinks, right, okay, I'm going to score a couple, and it just competition for places just raises people's performance massively. And I do look at it now, and I think, well, this is a situation that we've got with the centre halves now, a situation whereby we're trying to manufacture this situation in central midfield. Anana comes in, for instance. Well, he better play well because if you don't, Moyes is going to put Flynn Downs in. And it's this competition for places, which I feel is really, really important. Which it was in that sense, it was the easiest role to play last season. Do you think that might help us? That might improve us?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, Antonio told us himself. He told us in an interview, I want another striker. I want somebody to push me. I want somebody here that's going to nick my spot if I'm playing badly. Now, whether he means it or not is another thing, but I think there's a clue there. I think there's a bit of him that says, while I say that, part of me doesn't mind being the only striker at West Ham because it means I get to play. But you say, will it be a rocket up the arse? And I know you went on motivation. I agree with that. But I think the most important thing, it just gives him a rest. It just
Yeah.
means that he doesn't have to play Thursday, Sunday for about, I don't know, 6 weeks out of 12 or something. He doesn't have to play all these games. We've got 7 games in August. Could anyone watching right now confidently say that Michail Antonio could play 90 minutes, all 7 games at a high performance? Probably not. He's going to tire. So it's the first month of the season. It was already looking a little bit bleak with Antonio as the only striker at West Ham. But we've now got a guy in who can give Antonio rest. And it's not just about having somebody. Yarmolenko was somebody. We use Yarmolenko now and again. But the likelihood of West Ham scoring dropped dramatically when Yarmolenko took to the field and Michail Antonio departed the field. Well, we're not going to really have that drop off now with Broja coming on for various different reasons. Like you said, the style doesn't have to change. We're bringing on a player just as good. We're bringing on a player with different motivation to what Michail Antonio has currently got at West Ham, and it's a good one as well. This guy could stay at Chelsea with, a nice club, nice pay, be the second or third choice striker there and try and get into that team. But he's not. He's coming to West Ham saying, I'm coming here to nick his shirt. I want that striker role at West Ham United. David Moyes has said to him, a month ago, maybe, you're my number one striker. We went after him in January. We went after Broja in January.
Yes.
We said, look, we want you as a striker. Broja knows David Moyes has wanted him for a minimum of 6.5 months now to the day. That's got to be good. As a player, that's got to make you feel wanted. You must think, actually, I really want to play for that manager. And when I was out of form at the time, when I was bang out of form at Southampton, that manager wanted me. He, for whatever reason, wasn't too fussed about my lack of form. That poor form continued for the second half of the season. David Moyes still wants him. As a striker, that belief from somebody who's not even your own bloody manager at this point, that's got to say a lot about you as a player. And I think this is a really, really good transfer for Armando Broja, for David Moyes, for West Ham United, for West Ham United fans, and for Michail Antonio as well. Because to really stretch it and probably clutch at straws here, but this might help Antonio playing for Jamaica. Go away, play your international football, but don't worry about getting on a plane an hour after full time and getting chartered back to play in a game 24 hours later. Don't worry about that. The manager can now rest you for the next Premier League. He can put you on the bench. Don't worry about it. Enjoy your international football. Go out there and smash it with Jamaica. You want to play international football, go for it. Go out there, become a star for Jamaica as well. And don't worry about getting on a bloody privately £100,000 jet put on by David Sullivan to get you back and play you at 50% fitness because we've got no other option.
You could say you need to take EasyJet back now because we spent all the money on Broja. We've got any money left for a private jet?
But you're not taking.
You have to row back, mate.
You're not taking any luggage, though. We're not paying that part.
Absolutely not. No.
So anyway, mini sort of rant thing over. But yeah, I think it's a good deal for everybody. I don't think
I'm
there's any
really
losers in this deal, by the way. I think it's a good deal for Chelsea as well.
Yeah, be great. I cannot wait. Actually, I cannot wait to do the deal. We'll leave it there because once the deal's done, then we'll do obviously lots more of these videos as well. But I'm really sort of getting excited about quite how good this window could be. Certainly. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Thank you to Geo. Thank you one and all for watching. We've got another video. Just in case you haven't seen it, myself and Geo have done a different Broja video. You can't have too much Broja talk.